Yo, what's up guys, Just Boosters here and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today we're doing the final installment of my Making Orcust Good series in 2021. This was actually the video I had scheduled for past Sunday, but I really wanted to do a BA video, so I did. And a lot of you guys seem to enjoy that, so I guess that turned out fine. Before I go into the actual meat of the video, show you guys the deck list, show you guys the last replay, I just want to point out this is like a monthly series I'm doing where each month I'm taking a look at another deck. In January we had Magical Musketeer, then this month we had Orcust, which was a little bit less popular, but you know, that's fine. And next month I will be looking at another deck. Well, if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below for any decks you would like to see or you would think would benefit from this series. I do have some ideas on my own, but I recently got 1000 subscribers, which means I should be unlocking the community tab pretty soon, so I will most likely be doing something of a poll, including some options you guys give me, so I can see what most people would want to see, and I'll just go with the deck that gets the most votes. So yeah. Also, of course, a massive thank you for 1000 subscribers for every one of you guys who is subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. For everyone who is looking at this video and is not yet subscribed to my channel but does enjoy the content, I mean, you know, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe maybe if you want. I do Yu-Gi-Oh content a lot. I also do Digimon content for any of you who are into that kind of stuff. So with that all out of the way, let's get into the sick Dante intro, and after that let's get into the deck profile. Okay guys, so let's first, of course, as is tradition, look at the deck list. And the deck list I'm showing you guys right now is actually not the deck list that I settled on for the final build for my Orcust deck. I just wanted to show this because Orcust really, there's a lot of things you can do with the deck. You have like the going second stuff, you have the Machina stuff, you have the scrap stuff, you have the Phantom Knight stuff. And then I also tried something like of an Eldritch variant, as you can see here. This build's just something I quickly threw together and just like played a couple of games with it, but the synergy just wasn't really there in my opinion. One of the reasons I thought it would be fine is because, of course, the Eldritch engine doesn't require you to use your normal summon, which is why we see decks like Eldritch Zoo, Eldritch Invoked and stuff. And Orcust is of course one of the decks where you can use your normal summon to do quite strong plays. However, the biggest issue in my opinion was to run the Orcust engine you have to play a lot of trap cards. I'm sorry, not trap cards, a lot of bricks. Don't know why I said trap cards, because you only have to play one. But yeah, a lot of bricks, and then the hands where you draw a couple of the bricks or one of the bricks, and just the Eldritch stuff, they're just super underwhelming. There is some fun stuff like Foolish Burial Goods can send Crescendo, and now with Crescendo you can add Girsu, for example. And then that way you can banish it, go for Girsu, Girsu send Nightmare and just go into Galatea, which is fun. You can't even do the full Girsu combo basically because you will be locked into Dark Machines. But it's still pretty fun to do. So yeah, but that just wasn't ideal. I just want to show it to you guys because someone might like it that might want to try it. But yeah, let's go to the build that I actually settled on. So yeah guys, this is the final build. As you can see, not a lot of change has changed compared to the build I played in the previous video in this series. I actually just upped the card count, but in doing so I did increase the consistency. So let's get into the deck list. As you can see, I'm still playing 3 Ash, 3 Troll, 3 Bells, the hand traps. I'm playing the Crystal Rosenix to facilitate the scrap combo. The Orcust engine is still just 3 Girsu, 1 Skeleton, 1 Wand and 1 Nightmare. Still playing the same Mech Knight ratio, still playing the same Machina engine. Dragoon is still in the deck, Call by the Grave is in the deck, Foolish is in the deck, still main decking Droplet, so in total we have 12 going second cards. And in some cases Droplet just on its own can be enough to win the entire game. For example, if you're playing against Drytron and you have enough extenders. Still, this is all still the same. As you can see, the only change is I actually added in a Pot of Prosperity, which is why I said I upped the card count, because I did add in 3 more cards, but Prosperity is of course a consistency card, And depending on your hand, you can definitely relatively easily select which cards you want to banish for prosperity to dig for, like a board break card or an additional extender, just whatever you might need in the situation. And I think this card should definitely be a staple in the Orcust deck. This Orcust version specifically, I must say, does have a pretty versatile extra deck. Like, you have a lot of cards that you need to play in different circumstances, but in more generic Orcust builds, it's even easier to pick your prosperity targets. But yeah, I think this card is definitely really good and a real addition to the Orcust deck. But yeah, there's not much to say about the decklist. I think this decklist is very strong, especially in a format where VFD is not legal, which hopefully it won't be in the next few days. Hopefully. I can definitely see this deck actually perform pretty well, especially if VFD gets banished and Virtual World gets a little less popular, maybe people will be playing less Lancea, and this deck gets even more chance to shine, even though I don't think Virtual World will be unplayable if they ban VFD. But yeah, I guess just time to hop into the replay. So I did win the rock, paper, scissors here and elected to go first. As you can see, my opponent is playing on 40 cards, so pretty solid. Okay, so as you can see, my hand here is Bell and Droplet for going second cards. Then I do have 2 bricks, which are World Wand and Golem, and one card starter, which is Scrap Recycler. Having Droplet in this case is pretty nice because it will allow me to ditch either the World Wand or the Golem, depending on what kind of play I want to make. And that way it will open up the more generic combos the deck is available. Ideally, my opponent will have 2 monsters on the field to negate from me because I really want to get Scrap Golem in the grave as well. But, you know, if I'm not lucky enough for that to happen, just discarding a World Wand will be fine usually to break the board and set up some disruptions. But let's see what my opponent is playing. So he's gonna summon Zodiac Bunny Blast here, which is signaling he is on Zodiac variant, so it might be Zodiac Eldlik or it might just be pure Zodiac. We don't know that yet. I guess Zodiac Eldlik is a lot more popular than pure Zoo, so it will probably be that deck. He's just gonna go into Trident on the 4th summon, so playing around Nibiru, pretty basic. And he actually is on Eldlik Zoo, and he does open the only combo the deck has, which is Eldland Trident. On one hand, I really do like the Eldlik Zoo deck, but I really think it's only very strong if you do open a Zoo and Eldland, and in this case he does open that, so good for him. He's gonna get Haquiro here, which at this point I'm thinking he probably has Conquistador, because going in blind, you will usually prefer to add Conquistador over Haquiro, because the pop is just more generically strong than the banish from the graveyard is. So at this point, I think he has at least, he will have at least 3 disrupts, right? He will have the Trident pop, he will have access to the Golden Lord or Sanguine as well, because he's gonna pop the Outland here, and then he will have both Haquiro and Conquistador, and at this point my hand isn't looking strong enough to play through all of those. Actually, that's not entirely true, but I will get into why that is in a moment, because Bell is actually gonna be able to shelve his Sanguine, because it also can possibly summon something from the graveyard, and that way this one Ghost Bell will actually turn off both his Haquiro and his Conquistador, which might actually allow me to do at least some form of Orcust combo, because the Droplet is of course going to be able to shelve the Trident. He's going to activate Prosperity here, such a good card. He's going to review Strike, Barrage and Bell, and if I remember correctly, he is going to pick up the Strike. So this will make it a little bit harder, because he can either negate the Scrap Recycler or the Ghost Bell. Both will be pretty rough. When he negates the Ghost Bell, he basically puts 2 other disruptions online, but of course he doesn't know what I'm playing, so he might do that. He's gonna set 4 cards here, so we have at least Conquistador, Haquiro, Strike and Trident to play through, so we really have to pick up a good card here. And we're gonna pick up Prosperity of our own, actually, which is good because it might be able to help us dig for an other extender. As you can see, I am gonna do the Ghost Bell here to prevent him from using Haquiro or Conquistador, but he is gonna up to strike that, which makes sense, I think, because he's sort of trading 1 disruption for 2 in this case. So yeah, gonna bring out the Golden Lord. I am gonna opt to start off with the Prosperity, because I just really hope to see some form of extender. I'm actually gonna banish 6 here because I just need to see some extender, because this hand is never gonna be able to play through Hakwiro Conquistador as it is. I'm gonna review not much here actually. So the only sort of extender I have is Machina Redeployment, but it's sort of a fake extender because it basically just sets up the Scrap Recycler normal summon, and we already have that. However, one thing that really comes into play here is that a lot of people are not familiar with the Machina card specifically, and most people know what Orcust does, but the Machina cards have no ID. And I am gonna opt to add the redeployment to my hand to just see if I can bait some of his disrupts, and after that try to play with the recycler. So I'm gonna go redeployment here, pitch the golem. I just prefer to get to keep the world wand in my hand a little bit longer for the droplet, just in case he decides to randomly Hakwiro the world wand or something like that, which could be kind of annoying. Gonna add Megaform and Irradiator to go for the normal combo. I'm gonna go Irradiator, pitch the Megaform, summon it in an attack just in case I want to run over the Trident. He says here he's reading my cards, so that signals he doesn't know what my cards do. I go for the Irradiator effect, and then exactly what I hoped would happen is gonna happen here. He's actually gonna go Hakwiro the Megaform, and that's actually because Irradiator says you can target one machine monster you control, special summon one from your graveyard, one Machina monster with a different name and an equal or lower level than that monster, and if you do, destroy the target monster. So that means if I don't summon the Megaform from the graveyard here, Irradiator will not go to the graveyard. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. He's gonna banish the Megaform, and then he actually we get a little bit of argument here because he says like Irradiator should go to the graveyard, but it doesn't, and eventually he properly reads the card and realizes that is in fact the case. So he's like, yep, my bad, and we continue on as normal. So I'm gonna go Recycler here, and I'm gonna send Nightmare right away because I know that Scrap Wyvern is not gonna resolve 100% because he still has the Conquistador, and this way I just keep more monsters on the field. So that's why I didn't send the, what's it called, the Crystron card. Here, I'm just gonna go into the battle phase. He's gonna try to Trident. Of course, I'm gonna go Droplet, which he's gonna allow. Now with the Nightmare, I'm just gonna have to send the Skeleton, which is fine because it will allow me to get back the Nightmare later, which I'm gonna summon with World Wand. I'm gonna go World Wand, and at this point I'm feeling pretty safe, right? Because if he Galatea's the if he Conquistadors the Galatea, I just have Skeleton in the graveyard to bring it back and resolve her effect anyway. And that way we just have one unknown back row to deal with, but it hasn't been flipped the entire time, so at this point I'm sort of thinking it might be a duplicate Eldlik card. He's gonna Conquistador, like I said, which is fine. I'm gonna go Skeleton, bring back Galatea. With Galatea, I'm gonna go get Babel, because I'm gonna, of course, go for Ningirsu and attach Skeleton to set up a negate for the, or not a negate, but the disruption for the next turn. Gonna activate it. I'm gonna go into Din. I'm gonna go attach because, like I said, I think the set card is just a bluff. And now I'm gonna go into Dragoon to out his field basically, and that way I won't have a Dragoon negate because I don't have card in hand, of course. However, it's kind of hard for the Eldlik deck to out Dragoon, especially if I just can go Skeleton on the Gears to send his Golden Lord, which he will be summoning next turn, of course, with 35 deck. So the only way he can really out that is by top decking another Zoo monster. So we just kind of have to hope he doesn't do that here. Gonna send his cards. But then in the end phase, his last set ended up being the Cosmic Cyclone, so pretty unfortunate for us because this way we just don't have any disruptions. He's gonna go Golden Lord, there's just nothing I can do about that. And then he's actually top decking another Zoo here. So basically at this point it will be super hard to get back into the game because he's gonna be able to set another Hakwiro with the Scarlet Sanguine to banish whatever we want to summon back with the Skeleton. And that way it will be super hard to get back into the game basically. Because he will have access to Hakwiro and Zeus with 2 cents. The Hakuro is, to be honest, the most important, because we can try to grind through the zoo, but grinding through the Hakuro is just too hard. I took like Cover the Grave here, which doesn't really do anything. As you can see, I'm gonna go try to play it out and bait his Hakuro, but he doesn't take the bait. And then when I go Skeleton, he's gonna banish it in, and then just forces me to scoop it up. So yeah, basically perfect combination of cards for my opponent against my less than optimal hand. But as you saw, my hand wasn't like super strong at all. But we almost got there. So really showing off how strong the deck can be. And then I get to the side, and of course I'm gonna let him go first. This time around our hand is again pretty lackluster. We do have multiple of the Orcust we don't want to draw. We do have Droplet though, and we have 2 starters, so if he doesn't open too strong, we can possibly try to grind it out. He's gonna go Turo Blade, discard 1. Just go for Trident. Oh, he's actually gonna attach the Rembrandt, that makes sense. Then go for Trident. He's gonna pot again for 3. And let's see. Gonna review Cyclone, Golden Lord, and Conquistador. All of those aren't very high impact, so he's gonna opt to add the Conquistador to hand. Signaling he might have Sanguine, but in a worst case scenario for him, he doesn't, and he just wants it to get access to his Eldritch Engine. Gonna set 2 here. And what's gonna happen here is I'm actually gonna draw Red Ice Fusion. Which is, in a weird way, one of the best cards I could have drawn, because neither Conquistador nor Trident actually interact with the Red Ice Fusion, and the only card I'm really losing to in this situation is Ash Blossom. I could have tried to play through it with Gearsul or the Scrap Recycler, and then combo that with something like Droplet, but I was just really scared of something like Strike. So I just decided to play it safe and go for the Red Ice Fusion. He's gonna cleverly pop his own Trident. Just gonna bring out Dragoon here and swing. I'm just gonna show his hand at this point. He has the Buren Scrollmeister. So this is also one of the reasons why it's so much safer to go for the Red Ice Fusion, right? Because there's only one... There's literally only one hand trap that interacts with Red Ice Fusion, which is Ash. I mean, there are some other hand traps like Herald of Green Light and the Cyframe Delta. I don't know, one of the, the Cyframe that negates spells, but obviously he's not playing that. So just going for Red Ice Fusion against control decks is just absurdly strong. And then he has Call by the Grave set as well, so the other plays wouldn't have gone through anyway. I'm just gonna end, he's gonna flip that. Just in case he has something like Ice Dragon's Prison, I'm not gonna chain the Dragoon effect. Then he's gonna pick up Ash Blossom here, too little too late. And I think he's actually just gonna scoop it up at this point. Yep. So, not the conventional type of game, but quite funny. And I've talked about this in videos before, where just activating Red Ice Fusion coupled with hand traps or something like Droplet can be ridiculously strong. I also kept the Droplet in hand, by the way, last game, because I didn't want to get popped or something. And then I preferred just to keep it in hand as to disrupt his Zeus, possibly, if he did manage to out the Dragoon. But yeah, going into the last game, finally, we do pick up an amazing hand, 3 for 3 on Droplet, by the way, so pretty nice. We do have a 1-card starter, we have another 1-card starter, and we have Red Reboot, which is, it's actually not the best against Zodiac Eldritch, because oftentimes they play a lot of hand traps and just the Eldritch cards as traps, but we already did see Strike, so he might be on more traps than that. Let's see what he goes with. He goes Turo Blade, discard Turo Blade, draw 1, then he's just gonna go Trident again, I'm pretty sure, and, oh well, first attach the other Turo Blade. Gonna go Trident in attack, which makes sense, because it is huge. He's gonna go Eldland, so he did open up the best combo the deck has. Searching Hakuro once again. In this case, I'm not sure if he had Conquistador, because he knows he's playing against Orcust now, and Hakuro might even be stronger than Conquistador. Now he's actually just gonna set 4 cards. And I pick up another insane card, which is Purple Nightfall, which he didn't play around because he couldn't, because all his columns are filled up. He's gonna go Sanguine, and I'm just gonna opt to red reboot it instantly. Like, potentially I could have waited for his... the safest play technically is just trying to play through all his, what are they called? The Golden Land traps, and then keep the red reboot for something like a Judgment. But I have so much gas in this hand that I was kind of sure... even if he did have the Judgment, he would have to use that on this. Then he would have probably Conquistador and Aquiro, and my hand could very, very likely play through that. But actually, he doesn't have Judgment, so let's just take a look at what his sets were. He has Conquistador, Aquiro, the Eldix, of course. Then his last set is actually another Conquistador. So he has one Disrupt, which will be shut off by my droplets. I'm gonna go for Urgent Schedule first here. Just because he only has one monster, and if I have a monster, I can't activate it anymore. Then I'm gonna go for the Nightfall, just to get some more cards, get to the Blue Sky for more extension. And then this, of course, is set up for Scrap Wyvern, and I have the Gearsu in hand if I want to go that route as well. I'm gonna go Nightfall. He is gonna up to actually pop the Nightfall, which I'm gonna droplet because I just want to get Skeleton Engrave. Not like it really mattered, but that's the actual reason. So that's fine. I'm gonna go Blue Sky. Then I'm gonna summon Blue Sky. I'm gonna add Gearsu to my hand. And at this point, my opponent's just gonna scoop because... it's funny, he says, oh, I forgot Gearsu was also a Mech Knight. So yeah, that is the match here. Good final showing for Orcust. I really think the deck is quite underrated in the current format. It just really suffers from everybody playing cards like Skullmeister and Lancea because of other decks, and those just happen to be strong against Gearsu as well. But yeah, my opponent's gonna add me defeat here. What I probably would have done is Scrap Wyvern combo into something like Zero Boros, and then after that set up Dragoon with Babel, and then of course he's just never gonna be able to play through that with just his top deck. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the series. Like I said at the start of the video, if you have good ideas for the next installment of this series, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!